and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true.
Dramatic testimony today from Cheryl Lynn, who kept records and apparently in this morning's testimony told the jury that she had said to Michael, "But what if you don't wake up?" And Michael said, "I'll be all right."
The physician's desk reference with Mr. Jackson, you indicated to Michael Jackson, "I understand you want a good night's sleep. You want to be, quote," and you use, quote, "knocked out. But what if you don't wake up?" Correct?
Yes.
And he responded again, "I will be okay. I only need someone to monitor me with the equipment while I sleep."
Yes, that's exactly what he said.
You want a moment, Ms. Lee?
Yes, please.
By all means, take a moment.
And there was testimony from others. Summing it up today, the defense made some points in pointing out that other people had given Michael things that Dr. Conrad Murray didn't know about, or probably didn't know of. But does that exonerate Conrad Murray for not having all the monitoring equipment, not having a nurse practitioner or somebody watching an audible alarm while Michael was under propofol, a surgical drug, not supposed to be used for insomnia? I think the jury is not going to be moved, because in the end, when Dr. Conrad Murray did not inform the medics, did not inform ER, that's the emergency room personnel, that he had loaded Michael up with lots of propofol and kept no records of how much and when it was administered, or Lazatran or anything else and when it was administered, when he did not tell them that, this became a second-degree murder by poisoning case. The problem is, Miss Brazil and David Walgreen, the assistant district attorneys prosecuting, have not given the jury that option to find him guilty of voluntary manslaughter or second-degree murder, because they have not charged him with that, and the defense has not had an opportunity to defend. Watch.
Okay. It's not a unilateral thing for us to pull the plug, that we had a contractual obligation to Michael. Michael had one to us. This is something that we would have had to mutually have decided upon.
Was it your understanding that AEG was on the hook for the cost of the production so far up until June 22nd, 2009?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled. You may answer it.
Okay. Would you please tell me what on the hook means?
Well, Michael Jackson was ultimately responsible for the production costs up until June 25th, 2009. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Contractually, he was responsible for that.
Correct.
And the cost of what he was responsible for was in the tens of millions of dollars.
Based on the court's prior
The objection is sustained.
However, AEG had cancellation insurance.
Objection, relevance, based on the court's prior ruling.
Sustained.
Is it your testimony, Mr. Phillips, that Kenny Ortega, out of nowhere, used terms like pull the plug and tough love in his email?
Objection calls for speculation.
I'll overrule the objection.
Okay. When you say out of nowhere, I wasn't in Kenny's mind. Okay. I don't know what his mens rea was when he said that. I wasn't at the rehearsal. Okay. I was responding to his email.
Is it your understanding that Kenny Ortega was insane?
Objection, argumentative.
He says...
No.
Just a moment, please. Sustained. Partial answers.
He said, "We have tried tough love," and the email was directed to you, right?
Right.
He said...
Objection, beyond the scope, relevance.
I'll overrule the objection. Finish your question, please.
He said, pulling the plug would hurt Michael Jackson. He directed that to you, right?
That is correct.
Pulling the plug is the words that he used, right?
That is correct.
Did you respond to Kenny Ortega's email?
Objection asked and answered.
Overruled.
I don't remember responding to his email other than setting up the meeting when I got the call from Frank DeLeo that he thought we should have this meeting at the house on the 20th.
And then Frank DeLeo called you.
Yes.
Is that right? Now, when you spoke to Dr. Murray about Arnold Klein, I believe on cross, you said that Dr. Murray appeared to he acknowledged hearing what I was saying. Is that what you remember?
Correct.
Other than telling Dr. Murray that Michael Jackson was seeing Dr. Klein, did you add anything to that at all?
Not that I remember, no.
What is it about the meeting on that first week of June, that led you to feel like you had to share that with Dr. Murray?
Because of there were two instances. There was the prior meeting I discussed where we had a production meeting with Michael, which was a routine meeting at the house, and he seemed distracted and not focused on what we were talking about, which was the first time I'd ever seen him not laser focused on what the show was and what we were doing.
So you thought that was Dr. Klein's fault, or part of his visit to Dr. Klein?
It's not what I said.
All right. Well, what are you saying?
What I said is when I left the house, I went to Michael Amir and asked him, "Is Michael okay?" Because of the lack of focus on the meeting, and he said he just came from Dr. Klein, just like that.
You asked Michael Amir if Michael Jackson was okay?
Yeah.
Based on the fact that he appeared distracted?
Yes.
Just distracted?
Not focused.
There was another time that you called Michael Amir and asked to speak to Michael Jackson.
That's
right?
That's the second time, correct.
And during that occasion, he says no, he can't speak to you?
He said we couldn't have the meeting because he had just come from Dr. Klein's office.
And there was another time that you were shown a bill from Dr. Klein from Frank DeLeo.
It wasn't Frank DeLeo.
Well, who showed you the bill?
Michael Caine, who had become Michael Jackson's business manager, and was brought in by, I believe, Frank DeLeo.
And it was for a 6-week period of time?
Beyond the scope.
I'll allow counsel. Overrule.
It was for a 6-week period of time, you recall?
You know, I don't remember if it was 6 weeks or 3 months, or I think it was 2009. So whatever that period was in 2009.
Do you recall what the bill amount was?
Yeah.
Relevance, Your Honor.
Sustained. The partial answer stricken.
Did the amount shock you? Were you surprised by the amount?
Objection, relevance.
Sustained. Another subject.
Why were you presented the bill?
Objection, relevance. Speculation, beyond the scope.
The objection is sustained.
Questions? Thank you.
Mr. Chernoff, thank you. Recross?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. May Mr. Phillips be excused, Mr. Chernoff?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Walgren?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Phillips, I want to thank you for your testimony. Sir, please don't. You may step down. You may leave.
Thank you, Your
sir.
Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. May I see counsel?
Acts of putting Michael under propofol and overdosing him, because there may have been something else involved. This could be a critical turn of events in this case.
You may give in the cause now pending before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
You may be seated.
Thirdly, if you're called upon to provide a yes or no answer, please do so and avoid.
Laboratories, which is the parent company of Forensic Toxicology Associates.
What does a technical officer do at Pacific Toxicology?
I manage the technical operations of the laboratory and provide technical consultation to the staff and to our clients.
What type of clients do you have?
We have, our clients are typically defense lawyers, and we do some work with some police departments in San Diego County. We've done work, and in Nevada. And we provide forensic testing services for these clients, along with clinical testing services to doctors, hospitals, and clinics.
Okay, you do independent testing?
We do independent testing, yes.
What's your educational background that qualifies you to be involved in this field?
I have a bachelor's degree from California State University, Northridge in biology. I'm licensed in the state of California as a clinical laboratory scientist, and I've been doing analytical toxicology for 31 years now.
How do you get licensed in the state of California as a clinical analyst?
Clinical laboratory scientist?
Yes.
It requires the educational background, the degree, and then you need to do a one-year training program at a laboratory or hospital, and then you have a test, the clinical laboratory scientist exam that you take, and then you have to maintain 12 units of continuing education a year.
What kind of equipment do you use in doing these analyses?
Well, there's quite a range of equipment that can be used. Most of it's done on gas chromatography, mass spectroscopy. Some of it is LC-MS, LC-MS-MS, enzyme immunoassay, ELISA, which is enzyme-limited immunosuppressant assay, and many other technologies.
So there's many different types of technology that your company has to do these tests?
Yes.
Are you familiar with all these devices that they use to do
Most
the test?
of them, yes.
On August 31st, did you obtain a couple urine samples from the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office?
Can I check the date?
Sure.
Yes, we did.
It's August 31st, 2011.
Yes, that's correct.
And one of those urine samples was designated as the scene urine and one designated as the autopsy urine.
That's correct.
Two separate samples.
Yes.
And on the scene urine, did you run a test for lorazepam metabolite or total lorazepam in that sample?
The test would have been total lorazepam. Yes, we
And what is included in total lorazepam?
That includes the lorazepam glucuronide and any free lorazepam that might be present.
Okay. When you analyze the scene urine, the what we've been referring to as the 7 o'clock or 7:30 urine, what did you find in terms of lorazepam?
I'm sorry, you mean the total lorazepam?
Total lorazepam.
Total lorazepam. We found 12,974 nanograms per mil of total lorazepam, which is equivalent to 12.9 microgram per mil.
Did you also analyze the autopsy urine?
We did.
And what did you find in that?
That was 15,181 nanograms per mil, which is equivalent to 15.1 micrograms per milliliter.
Okay, so the scene, the urine that was obtained at the scene tested positive, and are these the numbers that you received when you did the analysis?
That's the urine from the scene. Those are the correct numbers for the urine from the scene.
Your Honor, what is our next exhibit?
Just a moment. I'm sure the jurors will tell me. Looks like Sierra, Sierra, Sierra. Correcto? Jury is indicating affirmative. Mrs. Benson? Thank you.
Okay, I'm marking exhibit as SS.
S.
When it comes to, have you done any calculations to, let me see, I'm showing you an exhibit that's previously been marked as exhibit triple C, which has been identified by Dr. Schaefer as a blood level for lorazepam based upon 2 milligram injections at 2 o'clock and a 2 milligram injection at 5 o'clock